Hello there, Mr. Sutton here, bringing you the IM3 Honors Chapter 1, Quiz 1, Extra Practice Number 2 solutions on operations with functions. So for all the problems on this worksheet, we are given two functions, which will have differing names as these problems go on, and then we're given something to do with those functions. So for example, on this one, we have the h and the g function, which do different things, and they're both functions of d, and we're doing h of negative 9 plus g of negative 9. So in this situation, if I'm plugging negative 9 into both of these, I think I'll do that first, evaluate them separately, and then add together whatever I get. So let's do h of negative 9 first. That's going to be negative 5 times negative 9 squared plus 10. So this is going to be, let's see here, this is 81 because I have to do the exponents first. So 81 times negative 5, that's going to be negative 405. Negative 405 plus 10 is negative 395. So that's h of negative 9. Let's do g of negative 9 now. That's going to be negative 9 squared plus 7 times negative 9 plus 11. So this is 81 plus this is negative 63. So 81 minus 63, that's 18. Plus an 11 is 29 when all is said and done. So at the end of this one, I've got negative 395 plus 29, which is going to come out to, let's see, it's going to be one more than if I added 30. So that would be negative 366 negative. There we go. For number 2, we have the h and f functions, and we're doing h composition, not multiplication, composition of f of w. Since I'm just plugging w in here, I'm basically just doing h of f. So I'm doing h of negative 4w plus 10, which means I'm going to take negative 4w plus 10 and replace that in the w that's in the h function. So this is going to be 4 times negative 4w plus 10 minus that 3 that's at the end. So at this point, let me just distribute and simplify as much as I can. This is going to be negative 16w plus 40 minus the 3. So negative 16w plus 37 then. For the next one, we have g and f of q, and we're doing f plus g of q. So basically just adding these functions together. And since we have this q here, I'm not really plugging anything new into this, just whatever the input variable was to begin with. So I've basically got the whole g function, q squared minus 3q plus 6, plus the whole g function, 8q plus 10. I put both of these in parentheses, but I didn't really need to because I'm just distributing invisible positive ones here. So let's just combine like terms and call it a day on this one. Q squared, there's no like terms for that, so that is still whatever it is. We have negative 3q plus 8q, that's 5q, and then 6 plus 10 gives me 16. And that's as good as it's going to get. For number 4, we have the p and the g of z functions, and we're doing p over g of 2. So my strategy here, I'm going to plug 2 into these functions individually, and then I'll divide whatever I get to get my final answer. So p of 2, that's going to be 2 cubed minus 3 times 2. 2 cubed is 8, 3 times 2 is 6, 8 minus 6 is 2. Next up we have g of 2, so that's 2 squared plus 5 times 2 minus 4. So this is going to be 4 plus 10, it's 14, minus 4 gives me 10. And then at the end of this, p over g, that's going to be 2 over 10, which I can reduce to 1/5. This next problem is going to be a little bit intense. Here we're doing g composition h of k plus 7. So starting with the innermost function, h, I'm going to plug k plus 7 into that. And that's going to be 9 parentheses k plus 7 minus 2. Let me simplify this a little bit now before I do the next step. So this is 9k plus 63 minus 2. So 9k plus 61. So this whole thing right here is h of k plus 7. I now need to do g of this whole thing. So g of 9k plus 61. So that's going to be parentheses 9k plus 61 squared plus the 6 at the end. Now to expand this 9k plus 61 squared, I'm going to do a squared plus 2ab plus b squared. So square the first thing. 9k squared is 81k squared. Then I have to multiply these two things together and double it, which I'm going to do on the calculator. So on my calculator, I'm doing 9 times 61 times 2, and I'll add a k in there once I figure this out. So that's 1098k, and then I have to do 61 squared. 61 squared is 3721. And don't forget, we still have that 6 at the very end as well. So there's not a whole lot of like terms to combine. We still have the 81k squared and the 1098k. We also now have a plus 3,727 for that piece of it. And this is as good as it's going to get. For this next one, we have another composition, a little less crazy than the last one though. So we have h of f of 2. First I need to figure out f of 2, which is going to be 10 times 2 minus 6. 10 times 2 is 20, minus 6 gives me 14. Next up, I'm going to be doing h of 14. So that's 6 times 14 minus 5. 6 times 14 is, I believe, 84. Minus a 5, we have 79. So that's our final answer for this one. For number 7, I have the g and f functions, and I'm doing f plus g of negative 4. So essentially, I'm going to plug negative 4 into each of these, and then I'm going to add those results together. Let me do f of negative 4 first. That's going to be 11 times negative 4 minus 5. This is negative 44 minus 5, so negative 49. Next, we're going to do g of negative 4, which is going to be negative 4 squared plus 5 times negative 4 minus 6. Negative 4 squared is 16. This is going to be a negative 20 here. 16 minus 20 is negative 4. And then negative 4 minus 6 is negative 10. So at the end of this, I'm doing negative 49 plus negative 10, which comes out to negative 59. For number 8, I'm doing h minus p of y here. So I basically am just doing this h function, 7y squared plus 3, minus the p function, y cubed minus 7y. I'm going to get rid of that first parentheses for free, but I need to distribute negative 1 to get rid of the second parentheses. So negative y cubed plus 7y. And let me just rearrange this in decreasing order of terms. So we have a negative 7 cubed plus a 7y squared plus this 7y plus 3. Again, not really changing anything other than reordering it. For number 9, we have these crazy functions, p and f, and I'm doing f over p of b. So basically taking the f function, negative 8b plus 10, and dividing it by the p function, b cubed minus 3b. It is possible to factor both of these, but nothing is going to cancel out when you do that, so you actually could just leave it in this form and move on to the next problem. For this last one, we're doing f times h of w, so essentially multiplying these. So 2w plus 7 times negative 8w squared minus 6. And for this, I'm just going to FOIL this out. So firsts gives me negative 16w cubed. Outers, 2 times negative 6 is negative 12w. Inners, 7 times this is going to be negative 56w squared. And then we have 7 times negative 6 for negative 42. If you want to, you can put it in order. So negative 16w cubed minus 56w squared minus 12w minus 42. So that's it for this extra practice function operations worksheet. Till next time, Mr. Sutton signing off.